Part 1. I was just a wallet to them. Let me tell y'all something real quick. For most of my life, I thought my family actually cared about me. I thought they loved me. Turns out, I was just useful. Just a paycheck with a pulse. And I didn't even find that out in some big dramatic moment. It all started with a random text. It was a regular night. I was cooking dinner like always, minding my own business, when my phone buzzed on the counter. I wiped my hands on a towel, grabbed it, and tapped open a message from my aunt. Figured it'd be one of those old videos she likes to send around. Something dumb or funny from years ago. But this one hit different. It started off shaky, like the phone had been tossed onto a couch or a table, recording by accident. But the audio? Clear as day. And the first voice I heard? My mom's. Emma should be grateful. She'd be nothing without us. My heart stopped cold. Then my dad chimed in, laughing like it was some kind of joke. She's a failure. But hey, at least she's useful. Pays our bills. I could feel the blood drain from my face. My grip tightened on the phone. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, my aunt, the same one who sent me the video, added in with a smug little giggle. If she ever stops sending money, we'll just guilt her into it. She's too soft to say no. I didn't feel anger at first. I didn't even feel hurt. I just went numb. They weren't talking about some stranger. This wasn't a joke. They were talking about me. Emma, their daughter, their sister, the one who's been paying their rent, clearing their credit cards, covering their messes for years. I've drained my savings more times than I can count, all so they wouldn't have to suffer the way I once did. And hearing them talk like that, like I was nothing more than a walking wallet, it broke something in me. I just stood there, frozen, my thumb hovering over the screen, when suddenly the video disappeared. This message has been unsent. That's when I knew. She hadn't meant to send it. My aunt must have realized what she'd done and tried to cover her tracks. Probably hoped I hadn't seen it. I should have called her. Should have blown up her phone and let them all know I'd finally seen through the act. But I didn't. Instead, I set the phone down like nothing happened. I didn't say a word, because now I had a plan. Part 2. They never saw it coming. I sat in silence for what felt like forever, just staring at my phone like it had personally betrayed me. Their voices, those words, kept looping in my head like a bad song I couldn't shut off. Emma should be grateful. She's a failure. She's too soft to say no. At first, I tried to convince myself there had to be some other explanation. Maybe they were kidding. Maybe I didn't hear it right. Maybe they didn't mean it the way it sounded. But deep down, I knew better. I knew exactly what I'd heard. They weren't joking. They weren't being sarcastic. They meant every word. And as much as it stung to admit, they were right about one thing. I was too soft. I'd spent years folding to their guilt trips, sacrificing my own future just to make sure they never felt the struggle I knew too well. My dad's temporary money issues somehow turned into me footing the rent for almost a decade. My brother's college tuition? Yeah, I paid for that too, and he didn't even finish school. My mom's so-called emergencies always seemed to happen right after I got paid, like clockwork. And me? I just kept on giving. No questions. No conditions. Because I thought that's what family did. I told myself they needed me. I told myself they loved me for it. But that one video? It tore apart every lie I'd been feeding myself. That unsent message, my aunt probably breathing a sigh of relief, thinking I hadn't watched it, was actually the biggest gift they ever gave me. She probably reassured everyone, too. Don't worry, Emma didn't see anything. They thought I was still clueless. Still their obedient little ATM. And I played right into it. I could have messaged her back, lit them up, told them I knew everything. But why? So they could gaslight me? Spin it all around and somehow make me feel guilty again? Nope. Not this time. If they wanted to believe I was still their naive little cash cow, I was more than happy to let them think that. At least, for a few more days. Because the next bill was coming up. And this time, they weren't gonna like what happened next. The following morning, I woke up like usual. Same sunlight pouring through the curtains. Same smell of coffee drifting through the apartment. But something was different. It was like I was watching my life from the outside, like I'd finally stepped out of the fog. And right on cue, my phone buzzed. A text from my mom. Part 3. The same old script. I stared at that text like it was a trap, because it was. My mom never just checked in to see how I was doing. That wasn't her style. And sure enough, not 5 minutes later, another message popped up. Oh, by the way, rent's due soon. Can you send it over by Friday? There it was. Right on schedule. The bait and switch. First the sugar, then the demand. I sat there for a second, just staring at the screen, fingers hovering over the keyboard like I was about to type the usual response. Of course, no problem. Sorry for the delay. I'll send it today. Maybe even toss in a "hope you're okay," just to smooth things over. But not this time. This time, I deleted everything I was about to write, took a deep breath, and typed just 3 words. I can't this month. I hovered for a second, thumb barely touching the send button. Then I tapped it. Message sent. And then I waited. 1 minute. 2 minutes. Buzz. Mom, what do you mean you can't? I could already hear the panic in her voice just by reading the text. This was new territory for her. I had never said no. Not once. Not even a maybe. And now? Silence. I didn't reply right away. Instead, I took a slow sip of my coffee, leaned back, and let her sit with it. Let her wonder. Then came more messages. Mom, Emma, this is serious. We're counting on you. You know we don't have anyone else. Buzz. Another text. This time from my aunt, the one who had sent me that cursed video. Hey, sweetie, your mom's really upset. Is everything okay? I almost laughed. Like, really? Is everything okay? That's the question now? After years of draining me dry, the first time I even hint that I might not be their financial safety net, the entire house of cards comes crashing down, and they don't ask if I'm okay. Not once. It was never about me. Not then. Not now. Never had been. So I took another breath, picked up my phone, and typed back. I've got some unexpected expenses this month. I can't help out right now. Sorry. No story. No fake apology. No desperate explanation to make them feel better. Just the truth, simple and clean. And then I waited to see what they'd do next. Because their reaction would tell me everything I needed to know. Spoiler alert, they did not disappoint. Part 4. When you say no, they panic. For the first time in my entire life, I told them no. And just like that, the mask started to crack. I watched those little typing dots pop up on my screen, then disappear, then reappear, then disappear again. My mom was struggling. Not financially, mentally. She was spiraling, trying to figure out just the right way to pull me back in. Then finally, her message came through. What kind of expenses could possibly be more important than your family? There it was. The guilt card. Their favorite move. I didn't answer. I let it sit there. Let the silence say everything I didn't feel like explaining. 30 seconds later, boom. Another one. Your brother can't cover rent without you. If he gets kicked out, that's on you. Aw. Classic. The brother card. Because nothing says love like weaponizing your own child's housing situation against their sibling. Real heartwarming stuff. And then came the real punch in the throat. We raised you, Emma. We took care of you when you had nothing. Is this how you repay us? I gritted my teeth, staring down at the screen like it was daring me to scream. When I had nothing. They never took care of me. Not even once. I put myself through college, working 3 jobs just to survive. I dug myself out of the dirt while they watched from the sidelines, arms crossed, waiting to benefit. The moment I had money in my account, they latched on. Like leeches. Quiet, smiling, manipulative leeches. They didn't help me when I had nothing. They helped themselves the moment I had something. And just as I started to breathe, thinking maybe that was the end of it, another buzz. My aunt again. Emma, sweetheart, don't do this. We're family. Your mom's just upset. You know how she gets. Oh yeah, I know exactly how she gets. I've known all my life. But this time, I wasn't backing down. Because they weren't just upset. They were afraid. Not because they were losing me, but because they were losing their supply. Part 5. They love the money, not me. Just send the rent and everything will be fine. That's what my aunt said next. Like it was nothing. Like money would make it all go away. Fine? For who? Them? I put my phone down, my heart racing like I'd just run 10 miles. I needed a second. I walked into the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and took a slow sip, just standing there, staring at the clock like it owed me answers. Something inside me shifted. I had spent years, literal years, terrified of this moment. Of saying no. Of being the bad daughter. The ungrateful one. What if they hated me? What if they cut me off? What if they never spoke to me again? But now I finally saw the truth. The real, ugly truth. They never loved me. They loved what I gave them. And the second I stopped giving, they revealed exactly who they were. That buzzing sound came again. I walked back over and picked up my phone. This time, it was from my dad. "Emma, I don't know what's gotten into you, but this is unacceptable." Unacceptable. As if I was acting out. As if saying, "I can't help this month," was some act of rebellion. Like I was a teenager slamming doors and skipping class. "You're being selfish. This family needs you. You're acting like some entitled brat. Grow up and do the right thing." And there it was. The final nail in the coffin. No more fake sweetness. No more pretending to be worried about me. Just blunt force manipulation. He didn't even try to check in. Didn't ask if I was okay. Didn't wonder what I might be going through. Nope. Just commands. Because to them, I wasn't a person. I was a job title. Provider. Fixer. Bank account. And they were mad that the machine had finally stopped spitting out cash. Then ding! Another notification. A voice message from my aunt. And something told me this one was going to be different. Part 6. The voice message that changed everything. I stared at that little play button on the screen, just hovering my thumb over it, heart thumping in my ears like a warning siren. A voice message. From my aunt? She never sends voice messages. That woman could write entire novels in passive-aggressive texts. She liked keeping things sweet on the surface and sharp underneath. So the fact that she sent her voice? I knew right then, this wasn't gonna be sugar-coated. I took a breath, bracing myself, and finally pressed play. "Emma, listen." Her voice was sharp, clipped. No fake warmth this time. "I don't know what game you think you're playing, but this isn't funny. Your mother is falling apart. Your dad's furious, and honestly, I don't blame them." I stood there, frozen, letting her words cut straight through me. "You've always been a little ungrateful. But this is selfish on a whole new level." My stomach twisted, but I kept listening. "You have a good job. You make more than any of us. You don't even need the money you're withholding. Meanwhile, your family is struggling. And what? Suddenly you don't care." I could hear the disgust in her voice. Like I'd broken some unspoken rule. "You owe them, Emma. After everything they've done for you. After all the sacrifices." And there it was again, that myth. That fairy tale they loved to repeat. They gave you life. And now you're just gonna walk away. Pretend they don't exist? What kind of daughter does that? She paused for a second, and I thought maybe she was done. But no. It got colder. "You know what? If you want to be this kind of person, fine. But don't expect them to forgive you. Don't expect to come crawling back when you finally realize how much you need them. Because once you cross this line, there's no coming back." Click. Message ended. And I just stood there, staring at the screen like it had just slapped me across the face. My ears were ringing. My hands were shaking. I should have been scared. I should have felt sick. I should have been running to fix everything, patch things up, send the money. But I didn't. Instead, I felt calm. Steady. Actually, I felt free. Because that message confirmed everything I needed to know. They didn't love me. They didn't respect me. They didn't even see me. I wasn't Emma. I was an ATM with a smile. And the second I stopped handing out cash, I was nothing to them. And maybe, just maybe, it was time I started being nothing to them too. Part 7. Their last chance, my first freedom. Right after I finished listening to that voice message, my phone buzzed again. Another one. From my mom this time. "Last chance, Emma. Send the rent." Just like that. No emotion. No question. No kindness. Just a final demand. I stared at her words for a long time. Longer than I probably should have. And then I made my decision. Without thinking twice, I hit block. I blocked my mom. Then my dad. Then my aunt. Every single one of them, gone. And for the first time in years, I felt something I hadn't felt since I was a teenager, dreaming about escaping that house. I felt free. It was like I could breathe again. But of course, it didn't last long. Because the very next morning, right as the sun was barely peeking over the buildings outside, I heard it. A knock at the door. I froze. It was too early for deliveries. Too early for visitors. Too early for anything normal. And deep down, I already knew. It wasn't the mailman. It wasn't a neighbor. It wasn't a mistake. It was exactly who I thought it was. The knock came again, louder this time, more impatient. I took a breath, bracing myself, walked slowly to the door. My hand hovered over the handle, my heart pounding like it was trying to escape my chest. And then, I opened it. And there he was. Jason. My brother. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. His shirt was wrinkled, his hair a mess, and his eyes? His eyes were wild. Red, bloodshot, and full of something between rage and desperation. "Are you serious right now, Emma?" he snapped, voice cutting through the air like a blade. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I blinked, kept my expression flat, and said the only thing I could think of. "Good morning to you too." Part 8. The mask comes off. He scoffed, dragging a hand through his messy hair like I was the one being unreasonable. "Don't do that," he snapped. "Don't act like this isn't a big deal. You blocked everyone. Mom's losing it, Dad's freaking out, and you're just what? Cutting us off? Pretending we don't exist?" I crossed my arms and leaned against the doorframe. Calm. Cold. I don't know, Jason. Maybe I just got tired of being treated like a damn piggy bank. His jaw clenched so hard I thought it might snap. Oh my God. Not this again. That set something off in me. I let out a sharp laugh. No humor in it. Not this again? You mean me talking about the fact that I've been paying your rent for years? He opened his mouth like he was going to fire back, but nothing came out. I didn't give him a chance to recover. Your bills. Your groceries. Your gym membership, for crying out loud. And the one time I say no, just once, I get called selfish by Mom, unacceptable by Dad, and now you're standing here like I've committed a felony. He looked stunned. Like he'd never seen me like this before. Then I hit him with the real one. Don't even try to play the concerned brother. I saw the video. And just like that, he went pale. That was the first time I saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. He shifted on his feet, suddenly unable to look at me. What video? He asked, trying to sound clueless, but his voice cracked. I smiled. But not the kind smile he probably remembered from growing up. This one had teeth. You know exactly which video. His hands curled into fists, and he stared off toward the hallway like he wanted to disappear into it. Look, he mumbled. Dad was just messing around, okay? We were all joking. You're blowing it way out of proportion. Joking? My voice dropped low. I didn't need to yell. It cut just fine as it was. You sat there laughing while they called me a failure. Said I should be grateful to pay your bills. And you want to call that a joke? He rubbed his face like the truth physically hurt. Emma, come on. No, I snapped. You come on. You want money? Get a job. You want someone to fix your life? Go find someone else. Because I'm done. He stood there frozen, jaw twitching, eyes darting between mine and the floor. For a second, just a second, I saw something real in his face. Some raw, flickering shame. But it didn't last. You don't mean that, he muttered. I locked eyes with him. Yes, Jason. I do. Part 9. I owe you nothing. He stared at me for a long moment, like he was hoping I'd take it back. That maybe I'd soften. That I'd flinch. That the old Emma would come crawling back. But when I didn't, his whole face changed. His mouth twisted into something ugly, something I hadn't seen before, but maybe it had always been there, and I just hadn't noticed. Fine, he spat. You want to be a selfish bitch? Go ahead. He turned to walk away, but not before tossing one last dagger over his shoulder. Just don't come crawling back when you realize you've got no one left. I didn't say a word. I didn't yell after him. I didn't cry. I just stood there, chest tight, spine straight. Because here's what he didn't get. I did have someone left. Me. And honestly, that was more than I'd ever had before. I closed the door behind him, slowly and deliberately, letting the click of the lock echo through the room like a final decision. Then my phone buzzed again. Of course it did. I glanced down. My mom's name lit up the screen. I didn't answer. I didn't even think about it. I'd been living under her control for so long. Her texts, her panic, her guilt trips, her carefully crafted emotional traps. She knew exactly how to twist my sense of responsibility into a leash. And for years, I let her yank it. But not anymore. I flipped the phone over, face down on the table, and walked away from it like it didn't control me anymore. Because the truth was, I was done. Done being the lifeline they never appreciated. Done being the backup plan. Done pretending their love was anything more than a transaction. They had never once stopped to ask how I was doing. Not once did they ask if I needed help. They only called when they needed something, and I always answered. I'd been carrying their weight for years, like my life was just one big debt I could never finish paying. But now I was walking away from the bill. Part 10. Silence isn't peace when they're still knocking. The next morning, I sat on my couch, wrapped in a silence that felt heavier than usual. Not empty, just heavy. Like the quiet was pressing down on me, testing me, waiting to see if I'd crack. But I didn't. There was no regret. No second guessing. No little voice in the back of my head begging me to undo everything. I knew I'd made the right call. Then the doorbell rang. I didn't even flinch. I already knew who it was before I stood up. Jason. I could tell just from the rhythm of his knock, sharp, fast, and patient. He was the last person I wanted to see. But somehow, it didn't surprise me. I opened the door, slow and steady, keeping my face blank. He didn't wait. The moment our eyes met, he jumped in. Emma, listen. His usual tone, that smug confidence he always had, gone. This time he sounded unsure, maybe even desperate. You need to hear me out, he said. I didn't move from the doorway. Arms crossed, shoulders back. Solid. No, Jason. I don't. He blinked, like he hadn't expected me to shut him down so fast. But look, Mom's freaking out. Dad keeps calling me, asking what the hell's going on. They don't know how to fix this. I tilted my head, unimpressed. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think I was just gonna keep playing along? Keep paying rent, covering bills, pretending everything was fine while you all bled me dry? I watched something shift in his eyes. Not understanding. Anger. You're acting like we'd never done anything for you, he snapped. Like we're just users. I didn't even blink. I know exactly what I've been to you. A bank account. A backup plan. A free ride. His jaw tensed, hands balled into fists like he was trying not to explode. You can't just leave us like this. You owe us, Emma. And right there, I felt something in me harden. I owe you? I laughed, cold and flat. I gave you everything. Rent. Food. Bills. While you sat back and let me. I stepped in closer, eyes locked on his. You don't get to talk to me about owing. Not after everything I gave up so you could coast. He stood there, seething. You'll regret this, he hissed. You'll regret cutting us off. I smiled, calm as ever. No, Jason. You'll regret it, because I'm not the one who needs you anymore. Then I shut the door in his face. Part 11. The final invoice. Slamming that door? It felt good. Not petty. Not spiteful. Just right. But I knew it wasn't over. Not with him. Sure enough, later that night, my phone buzzed again. I almost didn't look. But curiosity's a stubborn thing. It was from my dad. We raised you, Emma. Don't think you can just walk away from everything we've done for you. There it was. One last kill grenade, neatly packed into a sentence. You're making a huge mistake, he continued. Come back. We'll talk. We'll fix this. Fix it. Like this was some broken appliance, not years of emotional exploitation. I sat there with the phone in my hand, staring at those words. And instead of blocking him right away like I did before, I had a better idea. I was done being quiet. Done taking it on the chin. This time, I was going to remind them exactly who had been doing all the sacrificing. I stood up, walked to my desk, opened my laptop, and pulled up my bank records. Every rent payment I made. Every grocery delivery. Every last wire transfer. Years of proof that I wasn't selfish. I was their damn lifeline. I started typing. Here's a detailed summary of everything I've done for you over the years. I'm no longer your safety net. I'm no longer your ATM. And I will not let you guilt me into choosing you over myself anymore. Then I added, consider this my final invoice. You don't owe me anything, but you'll have to live with what you took. I attached every document, every receipt, every line item, and when it was all compiled, I hit send. But I wasn't done. Not yet. I opened the old family group chat, the one they used to flood with complaints, demands, and fake small talk. And I typed one final message. You all love to talk about what you've done for me, but you've forgotten everything I gave up for you. Then I added the truth. You never needed me. You just used me. This is my last message. Don't contact me again. And with one final tap, I sent it. The silence that followed? It wasn't empty. It was freedom. Part 12. When they have nothing left to take. Once that final message went out, I leaned back in my chair and just sat there. No one replied. No angry texts. No desperate voice messages. No crying emojis or half-baked apologies. Just complete, glorious silence. And for the first time in forever, I wasn't checking my phone every 5 minutes. There were no more guilt trips. No more. We're counting on you. No more pretending they had any power over me. They could keep their fake affection, their twisted loyalty, their gaslighting and emotional IOUs. Because I was finally done. But of course, they couldn't leave it there. A little while later, one more message came in. Jason, you're making a mistake, Emma. You'll regret this. Family sticks together. I read it once. Then again. And all I could do was smile. Because that message, that was his last play. The final card he had. And it didn't work. It didn't hurt. It didn't sting. It didn't even feel real. I didn't need them. I didn't need their approval. And I damn sure didn't need their version of family. I had something way more important. I had my own life. My own peace. And for the first time, I wasn't living in fear of losing them, because I'd already let them go. No screaming matches. No grand blow-ups. Just one quiet exit. And the best part? They never saw it coming. They thought they had me forever. That I'd always come back. That I'd always cave. But not this time. Because I took back something they never thought I would. Control. And that, more than anything, was what they feared most. Part 13. The sweetest victory. That night, I turned off my phone. No distractions. No notifications. No emotional booby traps waiting in my messages. Just stillness. And in that stillness, something settled inside me. Something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not the kind you get when things are quiet, but the kind that comes when you finally stop living for other people. When you stop explaining yourself. When you stop apologizing for choosing you. It wasn't revenge. Not in the way I used to imagine it. No screaming in their faces. No public takedowns. No dramatic exits. It was quieter. Slower. More personal. And honestly, way more satisfying. Because I didn't just stop helping them. I stopped belonging to them. I'd spent years carrying everyone else's mess. Sacrificing my time, my money, my peace, just to keep them comfortable. Just to keep things from falling apart. But no one ever asked how I was holding up. They never checked if I was okay. And in the end, that silence told me everything. Now I finally breathe without guilt in my lungs. I finally sleep without worrying about the next emergency, the next manipulation, the next favor dressed up as family duty. I don't owe them explanations. I don't owe them anything. I get to live my life for me. And that's the sweetest victory. Redditors, what do you think? Would you have done the same? Was I too cold, or was it finally time to walk away? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because honestly, after everything, I could use a little reminder that standing up for yourself isn't selfish. Thanks for listening. Really. I'm not Emma anymore. I'm just me. And for once, that's enough.
The story may be over, but the conversation is just getting started. Drop a comment below. We read every single one. Leave a like if this story hit you deep. Subscribe so you don't miss more real-life drama and powerful confessions. Share this video with someone who needs to know they're not alone. This is Fam Stories, where we say what others stay silent about. See you in the next story.